Yeah, we can start. So let's start.
Yeah, we're live.
Hello and welcome to this stream on the third day of the Steam Game Festival. I hope you are as excited as we are. I am quite comfortably on my couch.
Yeah, today I took over the office, so I have to manage everything from here today, but I'm alone.
Yeah,
And
let me introduce who is with me right now. You see on the top left is Sini, our community manager.
hello, everybody. I'm at home, as every time.
Yeah, we all have to be at home at this times. Well, what can you do? On the top, you see a certain developer, Dominic.
Hi.
You may say hello.
I did. Welcome.
Yeah, welcome. And if you don't know what to do on this stream, there's a button that says wishlist, so give it a click. So, let's get started. We have also a special guest with us, so maybe you can change to the other view.
Yeah, sure.
And let me introduce our lead artist, Ximo. And I will start with how did you find us? How did you came to be with Binary Impact?
Hello, everyone. It's nice to be here. So, well, for the last few years, I've been working as a freelance. At the same time, that I just got into the market, the assets market for both engines, Unity and Unreal. And actually, that was the way how I eventually got in touch with you guys. And ended up working on this project.
Yeah, it was actually a quite funny story because we were working with one of Ximo's asset packs for quite a while, and we were looking for an artist to fill in a gap in our team. So we were looking for someone who could do those assets. So at one point, we were just like, wait a second, why not just contact the guy who made them? And then so I just on Facebook, I wrote him, hey, are you up for work? Can we maybe do something together? So we were quite lucky to have you now, because what comes from your side, it's always amazing, and the look has quite improved in the last half year for our game. You can see already by the screenshots that are showing in the back. So how long do you work in this industry?
Uh, Actually, many years. I just started working on computer graphics at, I think it was in 1995. That was my first professional experience. So I just got into a small studio in Valencia where we worked on TV commercials and architectural simulations, all that kind of stuff back at that time. That was really, really exciting. And it was actually a really good school to get into more complex things. At the time also with 1995, yeah. The year, yeah. I think at the end of that year, Toy Story got released on cinemas, and as you can imagine, all of us wanted to work on that kind of things.
Yeah.
and doing animation features and that sort of stuff. And actually, that's the reason why I got with some peers and just made that group to create an original film project, really. And yeah, we just create a group called Anibita and started working on this personal animation film called Luna. That was 1997, around that time. And well, the project didn't go anywhere really, but that gave us lots of contacts, and it had a lot of impact actually in the early computer graphics community worldwide. You know, at that time there was already internet connections and chats and that sort of stuff. And yeah, we just got started to get commissions, and we eventually got in touch with a company that wanted us to make all the offline cutscenes for a game they were developing for PlayStation 1 and Nintendo 64. And we eventually got into the company. We moved to the UK, and that was actually the beginning of my career in computer games, in video games, really. Then
no, you first, of course. That is always the problem with the remote connections. You try to speak in the pauses, but because of the delay, I always start interrupting you. But please continue.
That was the way I just got into the developing industry. Actually, I wasn't looking for it. I was looking for film animation and that sort of stuff. Ended up working on environments and lighting, and to be honest, that was fantastic. Great. I just loved those particular disciplines. And however, after a number of years, I just missed the experience, with animation and films and stuff. So I just decided to move back to cinema again, and just worked on a couple of films, animation films, where I just got back again to animation, but never left completely the environments and the lighting. In actual fact, I just ended up leading a team where all the layout and the lighting was done in one of the films. Also got into the previous production, which was really interesting for the point of view of cinematographic language and developing, etc. But there was a point which I decided that was enough cinema, and game engines were getting to a stage where the visuals were extremely appealing. So I just decided to move back again to the game developing industry, and then since then, that was around, I think that was 2012, when I just moved back again to the games industry, being a freelance and independent publisher since then, until I got you guys and start working here.
Yeah, and speaking of great
We
visuals,
can really enjoy.
You don't have to say that. That's okay. Speaking of great environments, everyone can see them in our game. But how do you approach the dressing? Because when we started, we had nothing like this now. So what were your first steps, and how did you approach the dressing of Beam?
Right. Well, first of all, is need to underline the importance of having some previous work of the space and the gameplay in terms of gray boxing, where you for defining all the main areas and all the gameplay already being fun and fluent. So starting from the point of a gray box, normally that's what comes, a box, So very often you start with a big cube room, which you need to go across along different levels of height, while most of the space is basically a background which needs to resemble the interior of a huge cargo spaceship. So normally what I first do is just address the playable areas, which are going to be the spots where the marble is moving on. There I make some basic dressing for the walls on modular parts, and put some details like complex pipe sets, crates, containers, etc., which normally are gameplay related stuff and generate the obstacles and are part of the puzzle, which makes up the gameplay. So normally those things are coming already defined from the gray box stage. So there is not much room for for change here in terms of spatial position, scales, etc. So once that stuff is done, I tend to move to the rest of the scene, which is meant to be seen but not touched. So normally I could start working on floors. I try to get big polygons with tileable maps for general surfaces, and then adding up modular parts to put an accent on where the player areas where the marble rolls on.
Yeah, I think we have some footage of a speed build of you. Please let that run, Dominic.
Yeah.
Which shows this process actually pretty well. Yeah. Pretty much the same. The big background walls, as I said, what I receive is, say, like a big box where it's difficult to see any interesting stuff from the point of view of visuals. So then normally what I do first is creating and texture the main wall parts of this, say, big cube, and then try to start breaking up into parts and preventing the boredom and extreme tiling effect that we could have otherwise. So we are watching a lighting video, which basically is the same process as well. So once I have those big walls already textured and defined, then I start dressing them up with some girder frameworks or smaller wall sets, which are already predefined to speed up production. So basically, these elements help a lot to articulate the space, which otherwise would be flat and boring, would add some visual rhythm and eye leading, which is one of the things I normally try to put special attention on. Also try to use those elements to enrich the sense of depth of the space, depth and volume. And this is normally especially noticeable when doing the lighting. As we can see now, most of the background space we can differentiate easily three levels of depth, and some assets which are already dressing those diagonal shaped. Undefined parts are also helping to give the sense of complexity and industrial looking of everything. Also, for big spaces like that, normally try to bring some structural support, which makes it believable as the space inside a giant spaceship, which is the place where we are, after all. So once I have those elements already set up, then I start to add extra details to the backgrounds, like those big pipes that we can see in the background, and some extra elements which you have the lighting on, you really can't tell what they are, but you really don't need to tell, because it just makes the effect of industrial complexity in. So this is basically the main thought process that I just follow when dressing any given area, really.
Okay, so
it is not. Ask, please.
Ask, please. Yeah, you took all away all my questions because you, because well, I wanted to ask about the lighting. Well, you told me. Well, so I have to find something new for you. But I know when we started, we set up some basic mood boards for you. So if you want to start a game, how important do you think the mood boards are for the developers?
Boards are, for me at least, they are extremely important. In actual fact, I've been collecting and gathering hundreds of pictures and video references for my own consumption, so to speak, for the last few years. And the quick inspiration and source of ideas that you can get having all this information gathered is invaluable. I normally use Pinterest and have lots of private personal boards with that, which with lots of pictures that I've been collecting over the years. And actually, I just don't need to depend on any hard drive or any CD or DVD drive where I could store my stuff. And I back to those libraries every now and then, until very often you start knowing by memory some of the pictures. So it is a way to get a huge amount of resources in your mind, which eventually you can put into practice.
Yeah.
It's not just because not for models or compositions, but also color, atmosphere, mood, general mood. To me, it's an invaluable tool, and it's one of the first things I just try to prepare when facing a new project. Creating mood boards and discussing over them and sharing ideas.
Yeah, and in the end, I just wonder how many of our screenshots that Cine put out there of your work of Beam will end up on the mood boards of some other teams.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you have to think about this.
It works. I've been doing that with other people, so good to know.
Cine, when you have the stuff that Ximo built, you of course you see the final result then, but your job is to give that to the community, to let them have a feeling of the game to come. So how important do you think it would be to show the work in progress in a scene like this, when Ximo starts with just a gray box and then develops it over the time to the finished thing? Do you think that has an impact on the community?
I think that has a great impact in the community. I'm especially not from the game development community, and I worked in other jobs, and now for a half year I'm in this business, and I'm fascinating to see this time videos when Simo starts with nothing, and you see in 2 hours that he builds a whole room that feels like a actual place, and then when the light comes in, everything is full power and have a great look, and I think it's a great impact for the game that Ximo do this work and yeah, put this assets and lightings and everything in, and I think when I hear the feedback from the community, they all see it the same. Um, there are many people they like the look of the game, and the whole feeling is absolutely phenomenal for them, and yeah, I only can give Ximo a big thank you for doing this.
So there you have it, Timo. You make his work easier.
Yeah,
Speaking of
my
making the
pleasure. I'm
work
having great fun working on this.
speaking of making the work easier, we have a developer from the coding side. Normally, not doing a lot of this pure artist style. So, um, how is the support from the rest of the team, from the developer side, in this project and compared to others, when you need special tools or special little tricks in for triggers or camera work?
Well, I'll be honest with you. To me, working on this team has been one of the easiest teams to ask for things and tools. And I never got into problems, and I normally do provide whatever I need. So
So,
that
so okay,
sense
then
is
let me take this statement and ask Dominic. Dominic, how do you feel when the artist comes with a new request for making something possible?
It has been no problem in this project. We did always find a solution for everything. Sometimes it took a bit longer to get everything right, what we wanted, and discuss it and plan it out and just test it in a way. But it was always an easy way working with the artist.
So you never cursed when he just suddenly wants something.
Of
You
course
never
not.
cursed when Samuel discovered a new bug in a rotating script.
Bugs are a different thing, I would say, but
it.
I always got along with the artists,
You
no
guys
matter
know
what.
that we announced this as a battle.
Yeah, you're too peaceful. I
Yeah,
try to put some salt there, but so far I'm not successful in this. Well, okay, Ximo, one of the last questions for you. You made actually a set of rules for us to on how we were supposed to deliver gray box areas and how we are supposed to dress. Can you talk a little bit about this set of rules that you created for Beam?
Yeah, well, I'd say that beam environments are usually made up of really big personalized areas and long corridors which connect those areas. And maps tend to usually be very big, so we need to use a system of visual assets which are modular enough to facilitate the dressing, but at the same time are flexible and allow for variety. We just build up some kind of visual language helps us to set up controllable rules to define each type of area. In a way, it's like a verbal language where you have words and rules to combine them. However, we can't afford having just too many words and many rules. Otherwise, it would get crazy with that. It would get too complicated and expensive to produce. This way, we just set up rules for a style that, say, for example, corridors. We might have this type of corridor, say 3, 4, and they can have this width, that width, this height, or we can use this modular walls with these columns and no other columns. They can connect with rooms in these 2 or 3 ways, but not in any other way, etc., and etc.
So basically, to ensure consistency throughout the game, so that's a believable architecture.
That's actually is try to get some coherence all over the graphical work, and also having something that you can control from when you need many people, building up different levels, and you need to make some coherence. There are many ways to solve a room, and imagination can go wild into imagining new visual solutions. But that's something that needs to be kept a little bit under control too, basically because of style coherence and productivity reasons. So that's a really good reason to define a well-established language of words and rules to combine those words, build up our level art. Perhaps if we were 60 artists and zillions of budget for creating a big AAA project, we could enlarge this language with words and and rules, but we need to articulate it to manage. I think that actually is becoming very flexible and until now quite interesting to play with.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
far, the levels
building
we
a
created, they were not the same in each level. We use the same assets, but we can create a lot of different areas. And that is also
yeah
thanks to your set of rules. Yeah.
yeah it's we also it's for just an example of the corridors, but we could extrapolate a similar strategy to big rooms or any other kind of space. Actually, it's just minding about factors like eye leading, which you can reinforce with 3D volume shapes and the lighting as well. Once you're facing a really big wall that you need to dress up from bottom to top, and let's say it's a 200 meters high wall, split that big wall into different sections, and then you got some resources, some tools to give a different personality to each of those sections, and just bring variety, bring rhythm into what you have, and at the end of the day, you still have a flat roof, a flat wall at the background. But in the final result, you obviously don't get to see that. So yeah, that's basically it.
Yeah, I know you're a busy man, so I have one last question for you. What games and movies did inspire you most in this?
Well, in games, so my visuals always been, for example, the Crisis, Half-Life series, of course, Killzone, Dead Space, 2 and 3 especially.
So
But for
mostly
me,
shooter.
normally, yeah, I like shooter kind of games, yeah. Or first-person adventure, third-person adventure games, like, for example, some of the most ever inspiring game visuals for me are always the Naughty Dog ones. Started series, Last of Us, environment work, the lighting, the atmospherics, regardless of the theme and style. I think they always be a case study for me. To me, are the top of the tops. Point of view of
Okay.
inspiration. I might not do, say, ruins in Cambodia. The way they use the space, the ways they use the atmosphere, the mood, they combine with the visual volumes. I think they're masters for that, really. That's my personal opinion, of course.
Okay.
And in terms of films, stuff like the Alien films, most of them, Blade Runner, Star Wars, of course, and closer to something more industrial. I love Robocop and all the decadent industrial locations, and some other stuff. Well, most of it really. Oblivion, Pacific Rim,
So
Guardians of the
do we have
Galaxy.
to expect some jump scares then on later levels?
Nah.
Nah.
We already have.
Yeah, you have to say that now.
Okay. Or perhaps there is a surprise. So just put it on the wish list for.
That is a good sentiment. Don't forget, guys, to put the game on the wish list. That is very helpful for us. It's the third day of the Steam Game Festival, and I think by now you found some jewels here. And before you continue to browse, maybe click download for our demo or give us a wish list. Thank you very much. Simo, thank you too for your time. It was very nice to have you here. Now we will. It's almost feels like a step down, but we will exchange the lead artist for the pupil. So normally the pupil becomes the master. For us, the master has no time, so we use the pupil now. So have a nice evening and greetings to Spain.
Yeah, thank you, Simon.
Thanks very much, guys. Nice to see you. Nice to be here. Take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
So, Simo, Zini, it's in your power to get Samuel in this, yeah?
Yeah, I tried to do this.
Then we have to switch the names around a bit, and that all gives the viewers time to download the game and wishlist it. And for the... Oh, there he is already. But muted. For the viewers on YouTube, you can check out some of the things Ximo did. We have time-lapse videos here on YouTube where you can check out what he did in a few hours of work, broken down to 5 minutes video. And with this, I say hello to Samuel. Hello, can you hear me?
Hello.
We have no video currently.
The video is loading. I see it. No problem.
Ah, perfect.
There you are. Hello. How are you?
Hello.
So he's
Fine.
Hello.
welcome,
So-
Samuel. Hi.
So I think we can maybe jump in the game. Our certain developer will try to beat it.
Let's see how that will go.
Well, some mean people would say we have now a lot of time to talk, but of course we are not this mean people.
So let's get right into it. Let me just check the game.
For the Twitch viewers, Zini put this video for the time lapse that I mentioned for the YouTube viewers in the chat. So give it a click, give it maybe a thumbs up on YouTube, and we try to start up the game.
So let's
So-
try.
Yeah. Dominic, while the game is starting, how did it happen that you joined Binary Impact?
I joined Binary Impact about 2 years ago. I was working for another company and I had the opportunity to actually work on games. So the
In
basic
this other company?
No, not in this other company.
Ah.
I joined Binary Impact because I had the opportunity to work on games, which I always wanted. I did similar stuff, but not actually games. Maybe we'll come to that later in the interview. But it was just an opportunity, and I took it, and I never regretted it.
Mm. That is good to hear. Well, we'll see what the future holds. And how did you make your way to us, Samuel?
I need a internship for my bachelor degree, and I'm searching for some game creators so I can get more skills in 3D art. And yeah, then I got a call of a friend of mine who was working with you guys, and he told me I can call you.
Oh, who was that?
Fabian Groß from what
Yep.
they called.
You know, that is funny. I don't even know that name. How is that working out for you? Did you do a lot of 3D modeling?
No. In the first time, I learned a lot of stuff in 3D modeling, get a new program like Blender and Substance, and get the basic skills in that. And then I had to start with Unity, and that's my job since then.
I hear from the chat that Samuel is a little bit loud. Maybe Dominic,
I
you
can,
can
yeah,
turn
just,
down
just,
his.
just give me a second.
Yeah, give it like 20% down. While he's adjusting this, Zini, how did you make your way to Binary Impact?
Yeah, that's funny. I've been a live streamer and I look out for some indie games, and I've found Binary Impact at the Gamescom, and there I met Jens, and Jens showed me a little bit of Beam, and I liked it, and I want to stream it. And then Jens called me one day and said he needs somebody to do a live stream at the Global Game Jam, and I should be the moderator and the technical guy to this live stream. And we talked a little bit, and a little bit later he said, do you have a job? And I said, yes. And he said, do you want to have a job in the gaming industry? And I said, yes. And then what are we talking about? And he said, yeah, we need a community manager. And I said, deal.
Well,
I've been
let me just interrupt very briefly because I see Dominic has to go back and use the save point.
I have to use the save point?
Yeah, you have to use the save point.
Okay,
You made the save points.
but why? I know they work, so it's no problem.
And how do you know they work?
Because the certain developer made it work.
And is this always a guarantee it works?
Oh,
Of
it
course.
works.
Oh, it works. Unless it breaks, but then it's not finished.
Do you think we can divulge how you came to be this certain developer?
It's basically it's a very short story. We were just testing some of the levels, and I was in a live stream with the development and also the artists. I cannot remember who was there, but it was a lot of people, and I was just playing along and wanted to show them some new things. I guess it was in the 4th or 5th level.
The third level was it?
The 3rd level, yeah, the one with the long elevator path. Now I remember, and I just got down the elevator, and I don't know, I remember the elevator animation not being there, and it was one of the early versions of the level, and it was just playing along, and it was a little bit harder than it is now. And I just took just to show them something that was up the elevator, I just took about half an hour, or just quarter of an hour to finish the jumping passage, and everyone was watching me, so every
So
time.
no pressure, huh?
Yeah, it was, but the pressure was on, and I remember after that incident, every passage, when we saw streamers, the chat began to talk about that, and basically the members of the team always said, you are always faster than a certain developer, and it
Yeah,
was
so how does it feel to be a meme?
I hope I will get another meme with a more positive background in the future, but for now it's okay.
On Saturday we had a speed run, and then you will see how the community thinks about slow going to this demo.
Maybe we will
Yeah.
have some of the people in the chat will also react to my gaming. The fact that you develop a game doesn't mean you can suck at it. So for me it's okay.
And we have the confirmation in chat. We have confirmation for certain developer t-shirts.
Yeah.
Very
Samuel, you told us you wanted to do 3D modeling, but instead you ended up doing a lot of gray boxing and level dressing. How does that
Yeah.
feel for you? Not that you have to do it, but what is this? How is a typical day of gray boxing or level dressing for you?
That depends on the level, but most of all, I start with an idea on paper, just draw some sketches, and then use gray boxes and the mechanics we got to get a build, and then I have to test it few times if it works like that, and adjust the beams or the mechanics and look how it works.
So when you say a few times for testing the level, how much are we talking about?
uh, there's no fixed time for that, but yeah, often, and a lot.
So you can play it all blindfolded now.
Uh, a few percent sure. So
Really?
I don't use the light.
That's a
Okay,
call.
Dev stream with blindfolded
That's a call for a
artist
challenge.
incoming.
Yeah, it's different
Confirmed.
to blindfolded or just don't use the lights, but yeah, could work.
Yeah, actually, the other day I had a call with him, and he had a camera trigger on the wrong way, so we could not see the ball. It was just the pipes from the background, from the backside, and he were attempting to do this blind. Yeah, it's no problem. I did it before. Yeah, too lazy to turn the camera around now, so I'm playing it blind there. Yeah, so I can confirm there are passages where he can do that. So, what is a typical day in the office for you if you were actually in the office?
Yeah, come in the office and purr the dog, then making a cup of tea, boot the PC device, and check Twitter because I had to. Then start Unity and yeah, start with my work.
Yeah, but don't you have proof by now that using Twitter is actually useful for you?
Sometimes, but
Sometimes.
it's annoying to use it.
You have to use it.
Yeah.
Ah,
I am interested to
damn
hear
it.
the opinion on using Twitter from our community manager. Do you think it's annoying to use?
um, when I say the wrong thing, I had this job not more in it anymore. No, Twitter is a wonderful tool. I think we can connect to many people through Twitter, and we can share our beautiful content. I will do many gifs and videos and screenshots and everything, and we have a great community on Twitter that like the posts and retweet them, and it helps us a lot as a small team that don't have a big budget in advertising to yeah to share our content.
Yeah, and we actually try to give back. So if you guys interested in development, we host a series of Unity tips every Tuesday. So give us a follow if you are interested in this. We also have a link, maybe Tini, you can put it up there,
Yeah.
for the Unity tips on our homepage where we collected all of them. And not at all, of course, we cannot remember if we already did the tip or not. But yeah, you can check this out. It's a little bit we try to give back to the community with this. Dominic, please, can you enlighten us? What is your typical day of coding?
A typical day of coding. So a typical day in the office, you mean, or just the coding?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
what
why
I
not?
what I do is first, yeah, start my TC, get in the office, get some coffee, and then it depends. It depends if I am fixing bugs or if I am just working on new features. Fixing bugs
And
is just seeing the bug tracker, see what doesn't work, and then test load the version or the level where the bugs come through. I try to reproduce it, and then I start my search to find what's going wrong.
yeah, that
And
is a, if I may intersect there, um, this is a good opportunity to say thank you to our community who always give us good bug reports back to let us improve the game, to point out if something does not work. We are not annoyed by this, quite the opposite. We are very thankful because
Yeah.
we are blind with this. We know how it's supposed to work, so we just play it how it is supposed to work, and we never get these crazy ideas you guys come up with. So thank you for all this testing, and let us know what we should fix and improve on. But continue, Dominic.
Yeah, but I would also say it's fascinating to see the streamers playing the game in the demo, and I can see where they can laugh and where they get mad or where they pass too quickly, and I give all to this to you guys, and you can work with this, and I think this is very important for us.
Yeah, I've also watched some of the streams, and I am very amazed what people did with the game or the demo. Um, and you can just see that things that we plan to be very easy or hard can be totally different. It depends on the player actually.
Yeah.
Um,
On this note, tune in on Saturday because we have two streamers going head to head against each other, speed running the game. And what they come up with when they did their runs in Beam, uh, we are still quite astonished on what we see there.
Yeah.
So tune in for that. We will be also live with this on Steam here on Twitch and YouTube.
Yeah, and when you're a speedrunner, you can look at the stream and learn a little bit. Where are the hints? And later we will do a speedrun event for everybody, and you can join our community on Discord and yeah, join us.
Samuel, you let us know that you were working on your bachelor. So do you have any plans on what to do after that?
Yeah, I hope I can work in the job like that. Maybe create more 3D assets or just gray boxing and level design. It's also fine for me. But the job market in Germany isn't that big, so I hope I can find a job.
Yeah, well, let's see if we will keep you, if we have
Yeah,
to.
if it's work, I am on.
Zini, put these links on all chats if you can, then.
Yeah, I do it.
Oh, thank you very much, then. The most important question of all to Dominic now, and think good about this. Pizza or kebab?
since we established the Kebab Tuesday, which in German sounds much better, Döner Donnerstag oder Dönerstag. So I definitely go with the kebab.
Okay. Zini, same question.
I would say pizza because you can change the topic and have every time other taste of it.
Yeah, okay, the argument with the topping is okay, but Samuel, what is your
I would take both, but if I
both
decide,
on top of each other?
yeah, I take a Döner pizza.
Really? That is a thing?
Yeah.
It is. It is.
Oh, come on, really?
That Vera said it yesterday too.
Okay, with pineapple on top?
No, that's a sin.
That's a
This,
Thanks, Toby.
by the way,
sin in
this is the.
general or just on pizza?
Sin in general.
I just have to say that this is the passage where the meme comes from.
Where you fail again.
Yeah, I am waiting for you to fall. And there
I'm
we go.
doing quite good. But
It's a complete pineapple, says the chat.
Yeah, the complete pineapple. Which would make a funny pizza. How long would it be in the oven for that?
would also be a funny kebab.
As a roll with pineapple inside, you know?
Yeah.
Or you just empty out the pineapple and put all the kebab inside.
Oh. Look.
Yeah.
Look, I'm not doing that bad.
Where's the food truck?
Oh no.
Everyone is watching you.
Yeah,
Everyone is watching you.
I was
You will-
nearly there.
will
I
you-
was.
Will you
Oh
fall
no,
down?
no!
There was the exit.
Damn it.
There is it. Did he fall down?
Right! Yes, I did. It's always the same thing. I get.
Wow.
Essentially, I'm
Wow.
already at the top and then I fall down again.
Ah, nice.
And I remember the first version being a little bit harder in the distances between the beams, and
Yeah.
I couldn't manage it at all. So it's much better now.
So I'm coming back to the bachelor thingy. Can you tell us what you're writing about?
I want to write about the gray box concept and how you can improve it, and what's about the time management in a company. Yeah, I'm
Okay.
not. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay then. And how is that going for you?
It's hard to find good references for that. There are no that books where I can find something and use it.
So it's a
But
matter of the sources. So
yeah,
if anyone knows any sources, join our Discord and let Samuel know.
yeah.
He could use good sources for grayboxing level design in general for his thesis. So Discord link is up in the chat, I guess.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I posted it already. I don't think it's out of chat.
Hey, look,
and
I managed it in
look.
under half an hour for everyone to see.
Okay, how long did you practice?
I did practice a little bit.
Now he dies by the fire.
That would be funny. Yeah. So I lost a little bit my train of thought. Let me find. Yeah, Samuel, what were the biggest challenges you came up so far in this?
Uh, for me, the biggest challenge is to get fresh ideas to build something that's not repetitive to the other riddles and jumper sets. So sometimes I need a night to get the idea.
You know what my biggest challenge is?
No.
To find coding solutions for for you new inspirations. Yeah, there is almost not a day where Samuel says, "Hey, by the way, can we use this to make this?" And no, that was never intended to use it like this. Why do you do this? I thought this works. That is at least my biggest challenge. And Dominic, what is your biggest challenge?
The biggest challenge, yeah, it is the implementing of the new features or just getting things to work. I guess the biggest challenge for me, since I'm working on the game, was when we started to use these plane swaps, as you can see here, because we had to adapt everything to make it work in different dimensions or with three-dimensional player planes, so everything does work correctly, looks correctly. We had to implement a complete new camera movement, which was some challenge, and also the physics, so they work on those splines and lines
Yeah,
that you can
you
see
have to
now.
see, we started with the vision of the game just being a 2D platformer. But the community said, "Oh, it's so nice, it looks so good, please let us roll everywhere." So we were like, no.
Yeah,
But in the end, we decided to put in those plane changes, as we call them. And before, we just could restrict the ball from not rolling out of the plane where he was living in. And now we could not just let Unity do this, because with Samuel being creative the way he is, we just had planes in every direction or go round or not in 90 degrees, but like as you see here, it's just a 45-degree corner or on a spline and everything. So that opened a whole can of worms to rewrite basically all the movement and all the camera work that was done before, just to implement that feature. But I dare say that it made the game a lot more interesting for sure. But I can understand why this was your biggest challenge, Dominic. And I thought it was the save game stuff because Dominic is responsible for all the save game and the progress in the game. So when you unlock a new game, a new level, that is something Dominic coded for you.
Yeah, those save stations.
And the save stations,
I
of
had
course.
a bit of a hustle making everything savable basically.
And if you would do, let's say you start a new platformer, or someone starts a new platform, do you have a tip on how to tackle the safe stuff?
Yeah.
Should he maybe go into sooner in the project, or is it fine
Yeah,
to edit in the end?
you
Or
should start it right from the beginning. When we started the project, we thought about the levels being in much shorter and not this big in size, and so you didn't really need some save points. But later we discussed it, and we thought it would be so much better to have longer for the storyline, also longer levels or bigger levels.
yeah, and who came up with the first big level?
It was Samuel, of course.
Yeah. Every can of worms we have separately, that is always Samuel. Everyone looks forward when Samuel wrote,
We looked at the
I have a
level
problem.
and we said, okay, it's a very cool level. It's a bit long, and then we played it. We measured the time, and we said, okay, if you die, or if you at this time, I remember we didn't have the option to die. Exactly, that was the basically the player was invulnerable.
Yeah.
But we decided that the levels are very big, and if you get frustrated later in the level, you have to replay all of it. It would be too much frustration for the players to handle. So we decided to implement the save games, and from that I started to look at the levels. Okay, what do we need to save? What is the state of basically the static objects doesn't need to be saved. We need the player position, we need all the elevators and all the lights and all the animations that have played, all the audio triggers, and bit by bit we started to implement it, and now it works. We had some issues at some point.
Well, with everything, that is a normal thing in the development process, I guess. But let me say that it was the right decision, and was a very good thing that Samuel built this big as levels, because the players really seem to like it, to get lost in the mazes Samuel came up with. So it was all for the good, and we are very happy to have you, Samuel. This is awesome work that you do, and it's very creative stuff that you make, and people really enjoy your levels, because when you play the demo right now, there are 3 levels that were grayboxed by Samuel in this, and well, it is the level that everyone hates. It's 1.3 because it's very difficult. It really raises the bar in difficulty when you play through it. But also the creepy level that we see now. I hope the game sound is loud enough in the stream. Maybe we can get some feedback from the chat. They were all grayboxed by Samuel, and this is really awesome work. Thank you. Zini, what were your greatest challenges you had to face so far?
Oh, my greatest challenges. I think it's every time hard to find the right tone to get to the community, and also to get the right tone for you and the developers. And I think we find it now, and now we can create very good content, and I think the community is growing, and that's a great thing. And I working hard every day that we can find other players, or other players find our game, because I think we have a great product, and I think it's worth it to wishlist it.
That's for sure. We have a feedback from the chat. Dominic, can you increase the volume of the game?
Yeah, sure, I can.
Yeah,
Is it
just
very... Yeah, just give me a second.
yeah, just increase the desktop sound. Yeah. Well, I think there are a lot of challenges to come as we are still in development. The release is in September. You can download the demo here. The demo will give you 2 hours of pleasure. Well, let's say 2 hours of playtime. maybe you will get frustrated at some point, but that's part of the fun, or so I've been told. So consider download the demo, give us a wish list. That was really nice.
Yeah, and let us know on Discord or Twitter or Steam what you think of it.
Yeah, Dominic, how do you tackle a new feature?
It depends on the feature, I would say, but the first thing I always imagine is how it would look in the game and or a situation in which I can use it. So with the first beams or just the camera switch, I thought of, okay, what could be the scenario you could be in, and then I tried to build a very rude, simple prototype. And from there on, it's just testing and iteration. So basically, you try and you try a new feature, you discuss it with the team. Everyone has to say a little bit. This could be better, or can you make this or change this and that a little bit. And yeah, it gets iterated, and hopefully, finally, you have a very cool new feature that enhances the gameplay and the fun.
So you think that fast prototyping is the way to go?
Many of the things we had fast prototypes. In some cases, we had to, like the collectibles that will be in the game, we had to plan a bit. But basically, for the features like the repair stations or something, we just did prototyping. Depends on the feature.
Yeah, so I know, and I think we can give out this, let's call it a secret. We will have turrets shooting at the player in the chapters to come. And how did you start to go on the coding? Because the concept is pretty straightforward. You have some bullets and you shoot at the player, but on what cases, what were the edge cases you were thinking about, and how do you made sure it worked with the mechanics of beam?
Yeah, I was thinking that, okay, turrets should have kind of projectiles, and it was very clear that we have to use some solid projectiles because we wanted them to react to the beams. So it couldn't be like a laser turret. It would make no sense because it would distract the user from the beam mechanic. So we had like projectiles, and I thought, okay, they cannot be this fast, so they should be visible on screen and they should interact with the player. So if they hit the player should bounce back, and also if you have a red or an active red beam, they should be able to be deflected. And yeah, so I just made up a little test level and put light beams in there and made my turret prototype. And then we thought, okay, it would be cool to have like a field of view so that the turret cannot see in some areas, maybe. And yeah, we tried that out on the prototype. And then after that, we saw, okay, now we have the turrets. They're just they're working fine. The projectiles are nice, and now we have to just check where they can be placed. And yeah, with this we noticed, okay, they can be placed, or it would be nice if you can place them not only on the plane where the player is playing, but also in the background. What I'm doing wrong here, I'm just completely puzzled.
I know someone who enjoys watching that because he came up with the puzzle.
Yeah, I know it's this one, but okay, now.
So Samuel, what is your process of inventing a new puzzle? If you take this, what we see now, there's an example. How did you came up with it, and how did you think it could work, should work?
There isn't the great process. I think about it and making a sketch, and then I try it.
So you
That's
use
the way.
just analog, plain pen and paper to plan out the puzzle.
Yeah, most
So-
of the time.
So that is exactly what we have right now as a community event. Maybe Zini can shed some light on this.
Yeah, that's right. We have the Puzzles Creators Club. The Puzzles Creators Club open tomorrow, so you can send us your puzzle ideas. Then that's very easy for you. You just have to draw a little puzzle. It's only a sketch in Paint or Photoshop or any other graphic program you have, and we have some examples on our Discord, and you can look at this and see that's not have to be a masterpiece. And then tomorrow we will build all these puzzles in Unity and try them if they are working. And then we choose what's the best puzzle. The best puzzle win one of these wonderful crystals, a bigger one than this. And yeah, and the puzzle will be in the end in the game, and not just a winner, maybe also other puzzles that are beautiful. So send us your puzzles in our Discord, and I send you also address where you can see what you can use on items to this challenge.
Yeah, and you don't even have to use a graphic program. Just do it as Samuel does, and use pen and paper. Make a photo, put it to our Discord, and if it works for Samuel, and we can come up with this level after he just draws it with pen and paper, then you can do that too for sure. And but please don't make it all. Do we want hard puzzles or
Yeah.
impossible puzzles?
You want
Yeah,
everything.
no.
I want to
And
see hard
he
puzzles.
fell again.
Should be possible.
I'm
at
just
least.
I'm just interested what the community will come up with.
We already saw 2 puzzles on our Discord that were pretty interesting, and I'm looking forward to build it.
Yeah. I think they are not easy.
Yeah. And not only a crystal, the winner of the contest will also get a voucher for a Steam key, because the game comes out in September, so
Yeah.
no, not actually a Steam key, but a future Steam key, so
Hey, you never told me
a made-up
this
Steam key.
much fun.
Let's keep going, Martin. No time to waste.
Yeah, he made it. This puzzle, by the way, it was that abyss thing. It started with just a few lines on our whiteboard, and Dominic made then the first version of this, and it was already in our demo like a year ago, but in a totally different context, in a totally different level. But the puzzle was nice, so we kept it and put it in this new one. And by the way, the level we are seeing now is the result of the first level that Samuel ever built. It was so big when he finished it that our editors could not handle it, so we had to rearrange stuff and make it more plausible. But the gist, the general feeling of the level is still the same. And we tested it out in the beginning of November last year on the EGX, and people really seemed to like it. And so there it was pretty clear that Samuel has a great feeling for designing sometimes very hard puzzles that only he can play blindfolded. Samuel, are you still alive?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he moved. I saw he It's very funny. Just when we did not look, he put a Samuel puppet there and go for a beer or something. Little beverage check. What guys do you have? What
I
what
have the beer
beverage
glass,
is
but
next to you?
it's not beer. Maybe
So-
it's vodka. We will never know.
So you have water. Be honest.
Yeah.
Okay, water there. Vinny, what do you have?
Authentic witch brew.
Okay, and what's really in it?
Tea.
Samuel, what's your beverage?
I don't have anything here.
What? You should at least drink 2 liters a day. So
Yeah. Stay hydrated.
stay hydrated, guys.
Stream.
And I have just some cola here, so let's take a sip then.
Yeah. Maybe I should drink more beer. Maybe the game gets easier then. I don't know.
I don't think
Oh,
so.
I think you can make a drinking game out of it. Like every time you attempt to get the puzzle, the barrel over it, and it falls down, we have to drink and drink.
That would be a very short evening.
Is this the first time you played the level?
No, definitely not. I played it before, but I just don't.
Yeah, no.
Ah, damn it! Wait.
Should I spoil that this is not the only barrel puzzle?
No, there are actually two more. Oh, he did not do it fast enough. We added another difficulty there with a green beam there. And that was also input from the community. It was a bug report that the original place where we introduced the green beam was a little bit too abrupt. So they wanted to have it in an open space to test it. And maybe that is something we could do. Stay down there, Dominic, and let us, or you can, because I have some delay on the video stream, say a few words about the main mechanic of beam and why this is interesting.
Okay, so the main mechanic basically for the game, or the main idea, was to have those light beams somehow being influenced by the fog. Maybe a fire extinguisher or just some kind of fog that comes out of a pipe. And you know that if you ever seen light beams like in a big concert used with fog or haze, you can easily understand why they seem to be solid if you watch them. And that was the main idea for the yellow beam. Basically, we thought, okay, if it seems to be solid, why shouldn't it be solid? And let's try this idea and make it like playable, and you have beams that walking. And when we were done with the orange beam, we thought, okay, what else could it be? We could work with different colors and different functions. And we came up with the idea of the other beams. Basically, I can show that the red beam is the one which lets you bounce, and we have
bouncy.
Yeah, it's really bouncy. And we have the green one in which you just stick around. It's called the sticky beam, and you can just barely move, but you can stop yourself from falling, or you can just slowly move up.
And as we briefly saw with the barrel, you can also stop objects in this. They will also like stick to this. So basically, where the fog touches the light beam, the behavior of the light beam changes, and you start to interact with it. And this makes up, especially in combinations with the different beams together, makes up for thousands of interesting puzzles that we hope to come up with, or you guys can come up with, because we are planning to have a level editor you guys can use to make your own levels and put them on the Steam Workshop. And Zini, is there something in the future planned with this?
Yeah, we plan to do a level creator contest. So you can build a wonderful level and give it to us, and we put it in this contest. And if you make the best level, then you can also win something.
Yeah,
like
this
a Steam
contest
key.
will take place in September. You build levels with a level editor that comes with a game, put it on the Steam Workshop, and have the community vote on them. And also, because we love speedrunning, and we also put time measurement on all levels. So in the chapter menu of the game, you can always see your best time for the level. This will also work for the levels that come from the Steam Workshop. So you can make a level, play it yourself, play it with your friends, try to beat the levels of your friends, and make the best time in this. And this is also automatically included when you upload a level to the workshop.
And we also have the Steam leaderboard on this.
Yeah,
Mhm.
a leaderboard then to compare yourself to the friends, and when two people go head to head on beating the game as fast as they can, tune in on Saturday. You will see two streamers trying to be the fastest, two speedrunners running this demo, and I can say they are faster than Dominic right now.
Everyone is faster.
But they are head to head. That can be very interesting on Saturday.
Yeah, they both posted links to their videos of their attempts to our Discord, where you can check out what's the best time right now, and they are pretty close to each other. So it will be very thrilling to watch. The suspense is already killing me. Well, not everyone can be a certain developer. Yeah, that is reserved for one.
There's
Sure.
only one certain developer.
There can be only one.
There can be only one who sucks at his own game.
That was slot machine number 2.
Hey,
Yeah.
I'm feeling quite comfortable here, so I'm doing not that bad.
No, it's actually good. So you're surprised too, yeah?
You played the fifth level?
I've played it once, but I don't remember everything. So
Well,
maybe I get lost later. I remember the labyrinth that lies before me, and we will see how I manage to get through it.
Well, you heard the marble. You have to find 4 levers in this.
Oh, that was not the right way, obviously.
I don't know. I still watching at a picture that is basically 20 seconds old. Ah, yeah, that was the wrong way. A CD move. Now I get it. Yeah, let's call it a CD move. Yeah, it's up there too. I totally overlooked this one. Yeah.
Wow.
Samuel, can you
Discuss stuff.
give little hints on what challenges will await the player in the future?
There will be a level. It's dark in some areas, so you had to memory the path with light, and then you had to move in the dark.
Oh, that sounds. I hope there are no spiders in the dark.
Ooh.
We got
Yeah.
the spider filter.
Yeah, little cat
Robot
pictures
spiders.
instead of what game did that? Yeah. Also, we will have 2 more big chapters that will have a totally different style of
Like the
graphics
photo,
and
yeah.
art of the game. Because right now we are on board of a big ass spaceship that just crashed, and the normal exit route is blocked, so we have to find an alternative exit. And there are lots of obstacles because, as you see, a lot of the stuff is broken, and you try to find your way through it. And suddenly, everywhere are growing these strange crystals. And this is all very confusing, and you have to find out why and where is everyone, and this is the wrong way. Of these light beams, we have 5 different ones. So you already see the red, you saw the green one, you saw the orange one.
Orange.
But we have 2 more. They are not in the demo, but if you want to spoil yourself, they are on our YouTube. We have a short video about every crystal that show off how the mechanics work and how they will work in the game.
Yeah, and you can also use them in the Puzzle Creators Club.
Yeah, you can use them, and we will build them so you will see them in action tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah. On the website for the Puzzle Creators Club, you will find more things you can use for the level. Now, I also think there are small gifts of every crystal. Is that true?
Yeah, there are gifts of the crystals.
So at least you can admire the artwork. So, Samuel, can you tell us something that was going on when you made this level? What did you just add to it? Was there a deeper plan? Is there a hidden meaning?
Or no. So there was no story for me, so I just built the ideas I get in mind. And yeah, when I start one idea, I got another, so the level is big like that. Because I got more ideas, and then I was at the point where it was too big.
Yeah. When you are interested in the story, you can tune in on Monday, where we will have the lead narrative designer of the game answering some questions about this game to be. But yeah, we started with the mechanic before we had the story. That's for sure. And when you made the first attempt of this level, yeah, sure. Save point, Martin. Don't forget to use it. In the end, we took this level and we built some of the puzzles in previous developer streams, like this one, yeah.
No one has seen that.
Yeah, go left, go left, go left. It's totally not happening here. It is on the list. It will be fixed in the next version, guys. Don't worry. We fix a lot of stuff. And. No. But it was a good attempt. So, this level we built in a dev stream, in a gray box level. We just put this in, and our artist took then the gray box we made together in the stream and put it at this place in this level to make this spot a little bit more interesting. Before we had just a barrel and a button there.
Woo!
No. Good attempt.
He
but
died.
no. Yay! Good thing you saved just there.
Yep.
Really.
Oh,
Yeah, and
I've
this is,
never
by the way,
seen
how
this.
it looks when you die in the game. So, yeah, I can enlighten a little bit how you can get damage in this game. You see the white circle, half circle, at the bottom? That is your life energy, basically the structure of the marble, the internal structure. That was a good try. One of 3 ways how you can solve this puzzle, by the way.
Guess this one could be the fastest. But I will see
yeah.
in the
You will see it on Saturday,
Yeah.
but let me talk about the damage model a little bit. So, what can you stay at that orange beam? I want to show off the damage.
I
Or did
cannot
you already
focus.
fall down?
Yeah.
Damn it!
Let me see the next one.
Yeah, you will find a beam that is in a steep angle to the ground. What makes you damaged? So we have fire. We saw that in some other levels, and we can actually extinguish the fire since the fork is a fire extinguisher. So okay, but still, if the marble gets hot, the captain inside will get a little bit hurt, and also the structure will take damage of the marble. So, but the more important stuff is, oh, this is a good crystal for this. You can get squeezed. So, of course, we see the beam gets solid. But what if it gets solid at points where where there's no space anymore for the marble then? So what would happen in real life? The marble would get squeezed. And this is damage you will get. When you use it to squeeze yourself, you see there he just lost 10% of his life there. Sometimes, of course, physical power will press you out of this, but if there's no space for you, will just damage the marble, and at the end, you will die. And I saw some speedrunners using these points to use the light beams to get inside the pipes, by the way. To press themselves through the wall of the pipe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But one of our developers made it so if you pass actually through, you will instant die. So that is not something you can do, dear speedrunners. There's also other things that damage. We were briefly speaking about turrets. Turrets will of course damage the marble. You have to defend or use the light beams in a creative way to protect yourself. What a mean developer, says the developer who wrote it.
Yeah.
You have to use creative ways with the light beams to protect yourself from the bullets. We saw the squeezing damage. That also works with elevators or moving parts of the level geometry. If they squeeze the marble, of course the marble will get destroyed. We will also have like corrosive liquid cooling stuff that is floating through some levels, and this is also not very good for the marble to be in. How did you do that? Okay.
Oh,
How did he activate the top plate?
I
you
jumped on
don't
it.
activate it.
Yeah, but I saw a cable activating there. That
Yeah.
should not be possible.
Is it activated?
I don't know.
Yes.
Yeah, no.
Oh,
The blue.
okay.
So how did he do that?
Thanks, we have the VOD.
Yeah, I will have to look because it's the first time that happens at all. And there were a speedrunner doing this. So if it would be the way to do this, they would do this.
Yeah,
We
there
will
will
see.
be no new version till Saturday, so
Yeah, the speedrunner will definitely run version 32 that is out now. So yeah, I'm sorry, guys. I just was a little bit flabbergasted on what the fuck. Oh, by the way, is that here flagged for adult audience?
I think so.
Good. Okay. This part of the level went undergo some big changes. We reduced this room by half the size, I think. There was some. Can you go back in this room, Dominic? Maybe Samuel can give us some insight on what actually all changed in this room, because it had. If some of you know the earlier versions of this level, we did change quite a bit in this section.
This one?
Yeah, I think everything changed except the part on the top.
No, that's not true. You always had the way on the left, on the wall area you had. But where the camera is right now,
yes,
there
but
is a wall in the level. Can you go to the far side now?
maybe I'm behind in the street.
Yeah, you're. I have to
Depending on what platform. I checked them all, and I think which has the least bit of delay.
Mhm.
Yeah, here you see it, where I am right now. On the right side is a wall, where you just fell down, Dominic. And there basically was the half point of the room, and there was a whole room full of containers, and it was very difficult to get through. And because of some of the camera positions were intersecting with the colliders, and actually the camera were looking at parts of the level, so the occlusion culling did not work there. We had like 10 frames or so at this point, so we had to come up with a way to redress and remake the section. Yeah. Okay, you can leave now. I will stop talking.
I already left because I knew that.
Ah, great minds think alike. Yeah.
So I have just to find the last switch.
Yeah. Do you have an idea where to look?
No. I just got lost.
I just wanted to say you're on a good track, and then you turned around.
What's the last one?
Yeah, I remember it being not far from here, but I just can't memorize everything. So
Well, one thing I noticed when I play this stuff, it looks so much different from the view I have in the editor on those levels. Yeah. And we try to put the levels into sections so we can actually switch off complete sections so our editors go faster. We also try to save performance on the PCs that actually have to run the game by switching off a lot of the effects and level geometry and when you leave certain areas, which actually was a problem here in this level. At each lever you have a little television screen that shows you what the lever activates. And when we first implemented our performance saving stuff, you could not see anything on the television because that sections were turned off. So we we needed to put in some extra triggers just in front of the levers to activate the areas that should be shown when flipping the lever. But the first version where you could just see nothing on the screens, it was actually quite funny because yeah, we were like, okay, why is the screen? And actually we looked into, okay, is the second camera not working? Is the render texture not working? Oh no, we by ourselves deactivated all that stuff that should be visible. So yeah, talk about blind. Ah, can you make the jump? Yeah, no problem. No problem.
There it is, the last one.
We can talk in hot and cold about the.
But why is it showing me just
But it's very hot.
2 of 4?
Oh. Okay.
Didn't I switched?
Yeah, you did.
Okay, I have to go
You
back.
switch them back.
Did you switch them back?
I don't know. I have to see.
Ooh.
We still have time.
I know what changed in this run apart from all the runs I saw. Dominic
It's
died.
me playing.
No, you died.
Yeah.
So you reloaded.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Oh.
So I think the states did not save when you reloaded, or the levers.
I have to check that, but
I guess if you now come back to the first room, the lever is still again not active.
Let me just check that. It's not.
Yeah,
not
go back to the
Yeah.
go back to the first room. We will see. Interesting.
Yeah.
This is mostly how we find out about stuff. Some streamers play it, and we'll see what's wrong. And this is actually nice. We are a small studio. We don't have the capacity to check everything in great detail. Is that right? We just got raided?
Yeah, thank you, Malustros, for raiding us with 10 people. Thank you very much, and welcome to all the 10 people from Malustros, and welcome to our dev stream here. And I hope you have a wonderful stream by Malustros. And yeah, you can see Malustros on Saturday here in the stream.
Yeah, he's one of the runners, and it will be such a thrilling. They are so close, and their time is so close to each other. It will be very, very thrilling. So for the newcomers, I want to introduce who is actually here. You see in the top left corner a certain developer, Dominic,
Hi.
who is actually trying to play.
Who sucks at the game?
And if you should have seen Malustros play it, this is quite different, the experience. On the top right, you see Zini, our community manager.
Hello.
And on the top left, it's me speaking. I am the project lead of Beam, Jens. And on the top right, on the bottom right, it's Samuel, the person who designed this level. So please don't hate him. Actually, Samuel designed a lot of our levels, and we do not know what we should do without him. The levels he comes up with are very, very good and very entertaining to play.
Hello,
But,
Mara.
Yeah, hello. We can all wave in the camera.
Yeah.
Hello.
I can't do that while I'm jumping.
Try
Yeah,
harder.
So we are also live on Steam, so you can check out our Steam page, and at the same time you can press wishlist the game. That helps us a lot, and yeah,
Also
you can
download the demo
wishlist
and
it.
play for yourself.
Yeah, yeah.
Find out if you can be faster than a certain developer.
Don't question the designer. That's right.
Never question designer. Okay, I got 3 or 4, so I have to find the last one again.
Yeah, it's interesting because the fog did save. Yeah, you could enter the room again, but the lever state did not save,
And the barrel don't say.
and the
Didn't
barrel
save.
did not save on the platform. Yeah, so we have to look into this. And only because you died. Interesting.
I sacrificed myself for
You
science.
sacrificed yourself for the greater good of
Yeah.
finding another bug.
For science.
Malastros just can beat the demo in under 25 minutes.
That's,
You cracked the magic 25. Nice. I am
very good.
so thrilled for Saturday. But tomorrow first we will build the Puzzle Creators Club puzzles. And Malastros, I still wait for a puzzle from you.
yeah. I think a puzzle from a speedrunner will be interesting.
Not only this, he's the puzzle master, he said.
Oh.
Yeah, he said, with puzzles it's no problem for him. He will solve them all. And
Okay.
so I said, then make one that we cannot beat. And yeah, no problem, I will do it. I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting.
The great puzzle master.
He's the great puzzle master. I'm working on it. Work faster.
Okay, I got all the switches.
This is what Jens also said to us every day.
Work faster.
Yeah.
That's my job to say this. And do you work faster? No.
I
So-
try my best.
As for me, I'm working faster than I'm playing the game, so...
Oh, Malastros, just before you came, Samuel told us about his workflow, and he also paints the puzzles first on pen and paper. So you're not alone in this. Actually, before the situation with COVID-19 was like it is, we use our whiteboard in the level to in the office to paint our ideas there. Just some little very ugly sketches, and then we try to graybox them as we did in the dev stream.
Really stress me out.
So Zorkon is our head of audio,
Yeah.
and he's still working, or so he says. So as you heard, it's my job. Work faster.
I did it. Let's see.
Yeah,
if I
you
have-
did it.
GG.
GG easy.
And
So,
now,
Time.
oh yeah, check your times.
Yeah,
No, it's my PC, so it's
Yeah.
my
Yeah,
time. So
it's the
forget it.
faster times that Jens played, so
Yeah,
it took a little bit longer, I guess.
yeah. Captain Zorkon is disco. Yeah.
Mhm. So Malastus, you see developer time. Um,
But not in everything. Funny thing about time and developer time, when Dominic implemented the Steam stuff, so it works on Steam. It was part of the project. So having the project open and having Steam open counts as Steam thinking the game is being played. So if you look on my Steam profile right now, I have like 400, 500 hours in Beam
Before release.
before release. Yeah. So, Dominic, maybe you can show us some features you made for
Yes,
Beam. Something
yes, sure.
special.
Let me show you.
Can fire up
just-
Unity and show us a little bit of what you did, or what you've been working on.
Of course I can.
Faster tutorial, but slower in hunger 1. Okay.
Malastros, actually, TA Twisted in the chat here tries a skip in the tutorial level that would save you like at least 20 seconds, but he made that skip on third try or something and then never again. So maybe you should talk and find out if it's possible.
I know it works. Oh.
Yeah, well, I saw you do it on the third try, and then, as I say, never again.
So maybe we will have a look at the editor and just the first section, how it looks in the editor.
Yeah, sure.
Let me just switch.
But I'm hard thrilled to see all the skips from the speedrunners.
Yeah, it will be interesting for sure. Tune in on Saturday for this, 7 p.m. CEST. Again, live on Twitch, YouTube, and Steam.
So, for example, here you can see the first scene, and you can see a lot that is going on the level, especially the custom-made zones that we call them trigger zones. They can trigger some audio lines, some lighting, camera effects. It depends on you can change the type, basically. That is why you see a lot of those icons. Every camera is a place where you can actually switch the camera positions. What you also worked on a lot were these splines. You can draw them on the floor, and that is where the path of the marble goes when you enter it, so you don't have to you basically switch automatically if you enter it. Yeah, that are all the things that you can see in those levels. You see the audio sources. That's basically the lower section of the tutorial level. You can see the elevator. I can go up.
And what are these white lines that are in a half circle or something I saw there?
Yeah, there are bigger ones in the other sections. The
Up there, yeah, there's this white line. What is that?
Let me fly to this. These are the splines which we invented. No, we just implemented it as the base for the movement for the marble. So what happens if you get close to a spline? There is also a little trigger zone, and if you enter it, it will the player gets basically locked to the spline movement, so you can just use left and right and but move freely in the room along this line. And these indicate some of the areas where you can move around a corner in a smooth motion. Yeah.
Yeah. And these we call them level triggers. Those areas that Dominic clicked. We see the trigger volume, the green box there. That is the area that is defined when the ball enters it.
Yeah, you can show. I can show all of them, so you get an idea of how many we have in just a simple level like the tutorial section.
Yeah, we made a little custom code, or Dominic made this, yeah, to show all these trigger volumes that are in one level, and this we use to see if some of the triggers intersect that should not intersect.
Yeah, you can basically, because you can't see them except for the icon in the editor, you can have this visualization basically to see where we have trigger and see if there are some that you didn't notice, because it's easy to miss something here, especially if you're searching for bugs.
Yeah, and these level triggers, they can be used by our artists to change everything. We use them to call all the program logic. So Samuel, do you have some very crazy example on what you use these level triggers for? Just anything that comes to mind.
For the lift, I used a few. But it's now animation, right?
Well, I know for example that you used it to trigger in 1.3 when the Marduk ran into the hangar, and it was actually I tried to understand what you did, and I had to call you because some triggers were deactivating other triggers that again triggered some areas that were then
Yeah.
visible or not visible. So you have a lot of freedom with this, yeah?
Yeah, but not enough.
Not enough. So there are still features you want to have add to the level triggers then,
Yeah.
for example. So now it's a brainstorming session. What do you need?
Um, there was something I need. An event when the player use the fog in a trigger.
An event when the player use a fog in the trigger. Well, we will think about this.
I have an
I
idea.
bet he wrote it down. So that is the disadvantage of
Noted.
Samuel use of pen and paper because he always says to you, "Oh well, I wrote it down somewhere." That's easy. We can do that. So there you have it. Please write a ticket and assign a TA Twisted to that.
Okay.
I make a screenshot of this.
It's proof. You said it's
Yeah,
possible.
the chat is part of the VOD, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Dominic, can you go back to the editor and maybe show us some of this movement and why and how we make the elevators or stuff moving?
The elevators. Just
Or something, some movable parts. And how do we what do we have to do to make something moving?
that is.
You can even maybe do a little gray box example if that's possible. Just in the I don't know the playtest area or something, the playtest scene.
Yeah,
Just to give the viewer a little bit what is possible with this and how we would start to make I don't know a moving platform that goes from A to B.
Greybox models display. Do you know the name of the scene I'm just searching for?
Playtest.
And it was too easy.
Yes.
Playtest. Okay, let me show you the editor. Here you can see how a level, basically the ideas of a level start to become reality. Yeah, you can see some strange
Yeah,
platforms.
you can show the level, the puzzle that we just saw in game then with the barrel and the two beams.
It's
Yeah, there on the bottom it is.
yeah.
Uh,
Here's the barrel.
and in this level we will build your puzzles tomorrow in the stream where we build the puzzles for the event, the player Puzzle Creators Club. You can find information on that on the website. Zini will happily provide a link for that.
I will do. There it is.
Yeah, and make a picture with any means you have at your disposal. You can draw it with a pencil, you can use paint, you can use some more advanced tools. Just make a little sketch of what we should build, and we will try to build it tomorrow. 7 p.m. CEST.
And when you want to see on social media something like a live circle, how a level or asset was built from sketch to the final look, then say to me on Discord, write me, and I will talk to the developers to give me that content, and I will do a little video about this. And yeah.
So there
Just
you
tell.
have it. If you're interested in the life cycle of something, if you want to see how we make an asset game ready from the sketch to the model, to the textured model, to actually use in a level, leave a comment, You can leave the comment anywhere, Thomas. Yeah,
Yeah,
like
everywhere.
on YouTube, on Discord, on Twitter.
I check everything.
And
Yeah,
Steam.
let's say 10 comments for this, and we will make a video on getting a asset game ready for this. You have to count though.
That's a deal.
Finger colors. Yeah, you can even send the Puzzle Creators Club content with finger colors if that is something you prefer to do.
But I think, Jens, you must help me. I can't count to 10.
What? Why?
I never learned it.
Well, I never learned to count. I write a program for me that counts.
Then we do this.
And yeah, let's give this chat message to the other streams. If you want to see a developer think about a math problem for 2 hours in a live stream, then you can check out one of our VODs on Twitch
Yeah.
and see in a developer stream how this happened. And
That was fun.
and the solution, I think. In the end, there was a solution. It ended on a happy note, yeah? Happy thoughts, everyone. Happy
Yeah.
thoughts.
So let me post this on Steam too.
For the guys on Steam, you can visit us on Twitch, where we have the VODs of the last developer streams, and where we also stream every Tuesday with new content to let you take part in the development of Beam, our game. And while you're at it, just click on the wishlist button to help us out. Hey, he counted to 10 in binary.
Just
So,
let's-
Binary counting.
Everyone check if you made a mistake.
I'm keen on trying another puzzle. I just
Okay.
started the test area. Let's see if we can.
Ah,
I can get
if you were building a little thing, we did not see because the stream shows us 4 cameras.
Yeah, no, I
Very
wasn't-
four
I wasn't
4
building,
very handsome dudes.
I'm still waiting for the. Yeah, okay. Now I get the stream running.
Yeah. What, did you just build something new?
No, it's just one of the.
Oh yeah, okay,
test
then try
areas.
this puzzle. Try it.
But it's a new puzzle. But
Yeah, it's no problem. We build it on stream,
It's
so
a-
everyone knows or can check out the VOD. So you can try it.
Yeah.
The cool thing about this puzzle is the way it resets itself.
Yeah.
We worked quite hard on this on the stream, and so far we could not break it. Yeah, for actually use it in a level, we would have to add some camera work to add a trigger that adjusts the camera so you can see a little bit better. But that was not part of, or is never part of, this Greybox puzzle creation content. We can confirm it works. I tested it, it worked. Samuel, did you play this one?
Yeah. For me it
And
works.
for him it works, yeah.
I
okay.
tested it too. It worked.
I see what I have to do. Let's see if I can get the barrel where I want it to have.
Well, as we said, the cool thing about this puzzle is the way it resets itself.
I just have to wait for the right moment, I guess.
TA Twisted, I think you can lock it or soft lock it if you roll the barrel out on the left side. But that is then something to fix in the final level where we implement this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, you will see with a self reset that the barrel will come up there again at some point. There it is. 2 more jumps and it will be up there again.
It
It
goes
will,
to the edge.
yeah, don't worry. But Dominic started to really got the barrel out of his trajectory.
Ah, damn it.
Dum.
Oh no, yeah.
No.
Ah, that's why he said he lost it. But you already figured out what to do, yeah.
Yeah, I know what to do, but
I can confirm that is the right way. And you see, because the floor is tilted there, it will always roll back in this pit, you know?
no, I'm stuck. Ah, okay. I
No,
got out.
you will not get stuck.
Yeah, wait.
What, are you trying to break it?
Yeah.
Okay. But how? You see, I added a little camera trigger to pull out the camera a bit. And,
No.
you know, maybe you should let the barrel come through
I think
to,
it's
to let it let it in from above.
I guess it's not possible for.
the problem is the fog management, I think.
Yeah, sure, that is part of the solution.
Fog management.
The fog management. Yeah, you were too too loose with your fog management. Yeah.
Where's the barrel?
It will come.
Short, hard pushes.
Hmm.
Ha! I got it. You will see that. No! Okay, this is a hard one. I'm not giving up. Not giving up.
The certain developer move. That came from the chat. That was not me. I also want a T-shirt with this. I think you waited too long next to the lever. Oh, you let it fall. Yeah, now. Hey, yeah, do it, do it. Or did you already laugh because you failed?
Guess
Yeah.
what?
Oh, very close. Yeah.
Okay, we should have the faces in this stream window next time.
Yeah. Well, I did not expect that you would take you would spend quite a while here. Yeah, don't be on the platform there. You will kick out the barrel. Yep.
Should we play some elevator music?
Actually, he just has to press. Maybe in the music is in the stream. I don't know.
It gets interesting.
No.
Does he get it now? Did he get it? Did he get it?
Oh yeah.
I get the
Did he
office
get it?
dog. I get the office dog. Comforting me.
Oh, Buggy came down.
Yeah. She's just curious.
Yes, the audio muted
Yes, yes.
in the editor.
I made it. I made it.
Yeah, but I know he has a playlist of music open, so there should be music in the stream.
Ah, okay.
So
Can you confirm that, Dominic?
yes, there should be music. I can turn it a little bit louder, but just
Yeah, this is you.
This is Infinite Falling.
Yes, and this is how Infinite Falling looks like.
yeah.
But you wanted to build a little moving platform.
Just to show you how the development of those puzzles work.
Exactly.
And to show
But
you
you
how
also can but you
certain
also can see
developer is-
tomorrow at 7 p.m. CEST where we build the community puzzles for the Puzzle Creators Club.
Your puzzles.
Yeah, Dominic, maybe you can give the demo another playthrough.
Yeah.
A lot of people came and
Sure.
went again, so we have new audience now. So let's show a little bit of what we made, where we worked so hard on
Let's do
to
this.
finish.
Just do a new game. I can do this all night long. Find new places to get stuck.
Don't worry, we marked a success rate of 96%.
Now I have a dog. I can show. Here.
Yes, not this way.
Recalculating an alternative route.
Welcome to all
Please
the new
hold.
people.
Let's
Have
go.
cats.
Seems the ship is pretty banged up. It works.
Yeah. So this corridor actually, that was Dominic. Can you show that just from the normal camera view when we were just 2D, the first corridor? After the or did you already fell down when I said it? No, you
No, I've gone
turned around. Yeah.
back.
And show this first corridor, because we were in an exhibition actually, and people said there was no way to turn. Yet try to be there, without the icon. And we were like, okay, this looks so cool, but why? What is the reason, the logic, that I cannot go there in the depth of this plane? There's a perfectly good corridor. Why can I not roll there? And we're like, yeah, it is a perfectly good corridor. So the first solution was to move the broken door directly to the to the corner, so people would stop asking, why can we not go there? But we decided to extend the mechanics with this, that you can now turn the camera at this point and explore. So this also gives the level designers like Samuel here the opportunity to build way more complex levels than with just a 2D side-scrolling thing. And it makes use of our nice 3D environment in a much better way. Well, it opened a whole can of worms for the programmers, but that is another topic. Dominic, what exactly were some of the problems you encountered when implementing those camera turns?
Many things. Most difficult, I guess, was the physical movement of the ball itself, because you have to, like, especially for the spline movements, you have to kind of constrain the player to a plane or along, let's say, along a spline that always changes, and we had a lot of bugs with really wonky physics.
Yeah, basically we have a ball there, and the ball can roll in all 3 dimensions normally. So when we started, we could just constrain it to one plane, and we could do it with just built-in features in Unity. But with the possibility to turn the camera, we very fast came in areas that could not be done with the built-in stuff, so we had to write our own constraints for this, so that the ball keeps in the designed plane. And it gets a whole magnitude more difficult when we move along a curve, right?
That's basically the point. It's for, especially for player, and if you have some other physical objects to interact, like these boxes you can see here.
Yeah.
They also can be constrained to the player, but they, in most cases, they are not. So
yeah, actually, we wrote a helper script for boxes that should be on this, and this is one of the things that then we only discover when Samuel tries to build a strange new mechanic or strange new puzzle where he. I think we found it when you wanted to move a box, right? When you wanted to. In 1.6, was it there? When we said, okay, we need a helper for the plane change on objects. Okay, Samuel is sleeping, so.
What?
Yeah, but
Well,
I think it was there. So
Neat.
if Samuel already had a long day of level dressing, he's right now in the process of dressing new levels for, for the final game.
What's that?
So, if you want to be excused, we can continue, and we could say goodbye to Samuel.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll do that.
Let me try something.
It
See, sometimes you just need to be
it might
spontaneous and do
screw up
something.
the.
It will scrap the video.
I can try to join with another account.
We can use these crystals to get out. Thanks to me.
Auf den Weg habe ich schon ewig nicht mehr gesehen. Yeah, that is one of the speedrunners, and he uses totally different ways, I guess.
Yeah, I know. They
okay.
also don't use the repair stations because they just take time.
Okay, so for now, let's say goodbye to Samuel. Thank you for being here
Bye.
and tell
Yeah, bye.
tell us about your day. Have a nice rest of your evening,
Yeah,
and
thank you.
bye bye.
You too, guys.
Bye. See you.
See you soon.
Okay, bye. So, did it survive? For me, the new user is exactly at the spot where Samuel was.
It looks perfect.
Yeah, but Dominic, you can switch off the camera for this one.
Let me just check that. I should be able to do that.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, go back to that repair station room, because, we made the repair station after we already designed this level. At some point, we were like, yeah, damn it, still on the to-do list is repair stations.
Back to the repair station.
Yeah. And
Oh, nice. A repair station.
yeah.
Ooh, nice.
And so we had a broken door up here. So we said, okay, there's a broken door, so just add another room there and put the repair station in the tutorial.
Yeah, but it's totally possible you skip it.
Did you already use it? I
Yeah.
did not see.
Yeah, I did it
okay.
to show the animation. That's why
Yeah,
when the
because
streamer said
it's-
he hasn't, when Malastro said he hasn't seen this way for a long time. For the speedrunners, it doesn't
Yeah.
make sense to go up here.
Yeah,
No.
speedrunners skip the save points and the repair stations because they take too much time. Doesn't matter how nice the animation is, they don't
Yeah.
care.
But they-
just for speedrunners, we will add unskippable cutscenes.
Yeah, and they can't skip the elevators.
Yeah, elevators are the downfall of speedrunners.
Wait a second.
So for me, the camera with the red thing is still on. You can
Yeah.
deactivate that.
Yeah,
please.
sorry, I have to. Now, it should be gone.
Yeah. Well, I have to wait 10 seconds to confirm, but I trust you.
It's gone. And it's gone.
This is a storage area you talked about before.
Yeah,
You
nice.
are 100% correct, Esper and Captain Martin. One of the many stories.
Second.
Good.
This is
Do
level
everything
534
again.
subsection 23,000. To be exact.
Maybe I'm faster this time.
I heard enough.
You can give us your best.
Yeah, so I shouldn't use the for the speedrunning moments. I shouldn't use the barrel at all.
Yeah. This was actually something I showed to Malastros, that you should not use the barrel. Just use the Well, not like this.
Yeah, sure, you can do it like this.
Oh, and I was just where you had it slightly on the wrong height.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you can skip the whole I get the barrel and put it on the plate part. But that was also to teach to look out for barrels to put on the plates.
Exit is over there.
Because later finding the barrel might be
Is it going
one
to
of
take
the issues.
long?
The barrel is hidden, yeah, then you have a whole new puzzle there. So we have the interaction with the light beam. Maybe once you climb the tower, you can look for a beam, and we can
Shut up.
um,
Tell me this.
very briefly
What's in
explain
these
how
things anyway?
the mechanics work.
Yeah, right next to the save station here.
Yeah, why not? So we have these light beams, and just by themselves, they're just light beams. They look just nice, and they are just here. They have no collision or interactable features.
Okay, I get
But
it.
our escape pod here, um, that is boarded by Captain Esper and Captain Martin, who tries to escape this broken ship, it can spray fog in every direction. Where the fog touches the light beam changes the behavior, and the orange one, as you see here, it gets solid. So you can ride it, jump on it. So that's why we ask you, wouldn't it be great to walk on light? Because in our game you can. So if that is not a reason to put it on the wish list, I don't know what. With these light beams, we have like 5 of them, and they all do something else. 3 of them you can explore in the demo. That is free to download here. We have like 2 hours of playtime right now. And the other beams, if you want to spoil yourself, you can find them on our YouTube channel, where we have a short video with like, it's like a minute each or something, that
Yeah.
briefly explains how the light beams work.
Yeah, and you can find it in the on the website for the Puzzles Creators Club. We explain all the light beams, so you can check this site also and send us your puzzles for tomorrow.
Yeah, and if you are in the mood to design something, as Cini said, just use paint, use a pencil, use any program you like to just make a short scribble of your puzzle, send it in, and we will try to build it. I don't know what hole I dug for myself there, because I have to build this tomorrow. But we will do our best to make your puzzles come to reality and be part of the game.
To make your dreams come true.
This scream at this point, I know from some videos that our head of audio sent us, that they had quite a lot of fun recording the screams of Martin there.
Yeah, I guess everyone who hears it for the first time in a demo will be.
Oh, on our
We'll have a
Discord,
laugh.
we have a channel for live videos and live streams, and there is a clip somewhere in there of a streamer girl who got caught off guard by this scream. She she
Yeah.
was totally jump scared there, and she was, "Hey, you said it was not a horror game." That is such a funny clip.
I can do this.
I laughed so hard when I first hear that voice of him screaming out loud. It's so funny.
Oh, here we see some really pro gamer moves here.
Yeah, I trained. Second
Yeah,
time.
and
will be
then
better.
the simple climb on the 3 beams.
Well done. Mother would be proud.
Okay.
A save point, Martin. Don't forget to use it.
But a short story to this plane changes. I played the first version I played on my stream was the 2D version of the game, and then I got the 2.5D version, and I saw this plane change, and I pushed A 5 minutes long. because I liked it so much. This effect, this was so cool, and I'm totally fascinating in this effect.
Well, at least someone admires the work.
Oh, okay. Now, what the hell is this?
That there is a head of audio. You speak of the devil, and
And the devil enters.
so talk on what was the clip where you almost fell from your chair laughing? Because I know that story. Wait, yeah, show off the animation of the repair station again.
Okay, so I have to go down.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I have a delay in what I see.
Yeah,
But the animation that Ximo made for this thing,
it's just so good. Yeah.
yeah. Not hehe, just tell us. Yeah, that is also the audio design in this. I hope it is. You can hear it in the scream. In the scream, in the stream.
Steam Scream Stream.
Is it going to take long? Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, because right now it almost feels. If you guys watch the old Monty Python Flying Circus thing, it also almost feels like in a Monty Python line. Is it going to take long? I have somewhere I have this video where our head of audio just sits in his chair and is just giggling by himself about this line. That is so funny. And you hear in the background just the voice artist like saying this line over and over again. and there's just the sound guy sitting there and giggling. It's so good. Yeah, exactly. Oh, we just a few versions ago, we still had some occlusion issues in the corners here, but as you can see, did you fall down? No?
Yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to. When you come back to the lever that moves the crane, yeah, can you go all the way to the corner to show off how we fixed it with just smart camera placement? You know what I mean? Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
Listening to all the takes. That's why. Okay, it was not live. That the. Okay, it was listening to the takes. That does not make it any less funny. Yeah, as you can see, we just to move the camera in an angle so it will not go through the wall there, and these are just little things we have to do in all the levels to just finish little issues where you could see the occlusion culling or some other little level parts that come through, and yeah, this is all these little touches is then still something you have to keep in mind we have to do before we can release a game. That's work you do not expect.
But it also helps to see what the lever is doing.
Yeah, sure. That is also a point there. Here we tried very hard with the camera view so you can see the lever on the other side. And still there are a lot of streams who miss it actually.
Yeah.
When you come out of the control room, you can stop on the ramp and we can have a look across the room, following that blue cable tray there. And imagine that the cable tray is off, like it is in the beginning. Even if you miss the lever, we thought it is then quite obvious that the lever's on the other side there. You can really good see it there. But still, I see streams where it's like, okay, I don't know where to go from here. So and we are then thinking, okay, is it too hard? Do we need to fix it? Because other people find it directly, and this is a very, very difficult balance to keep between making it too hard and too easy in this.
It's other than a difficult level in other games where you only higher the hit points of an enemy or something like this. It's harder to guess what's hard and what's too easy.
Yeah, you can only come to a conclusion with a lot of playtesting. But a lot of playtesting is a lot of time, and a lot of time is a lot of money. So we are very, very glad to have a community that helps us out in testing the stuff, in the streamers who stream the stuff, that we can see what they are doing. There were even streamers who streamed it with an an eye tracker, so we could see where he was looking at. So we could completely understand which clues he sees and which are totally oblivious to him. That was a very interesting thing. If you also want to help out, Dominic, if you on top of this section, you could show off the in-game console, yeah,
Yeah.
where we will show you. You can make a very easy bug report with an in-game console, and you can give us the file on our Discord or just send it to our community manager. Send us the bugs you will find, and we can solve it and improve the game, make it better for you guys.
Yeah.
Hey, I was never so
And
fast in that section.
and when you are a streamer, you can also send me a DM or something like this, and I will send you our streamer kit.
Yeah. Okay, you can press F3 in the game, and a little console will open. And maybe Dominic, you explain it because you have an instant feedback, and I always have to wait for actually things to happen.
What you can basically do is just... now I can enter text. You could just give us a bug report by typing bug and then a short message. Stuff here doesn't work.
Yeah. Which will not send any data to us. It will generate a file on your hard drive. You can find it on Steam in the FAQ or on Discord in the FAQ,
Yeah,
where the file is located.
it also gives the location if you do the bug
Yeah,
report.
exactly.
It just
Where,
says it in
for
the
us,
console.
where exactly the ball was when you typed this message, and then we can find it and see what you meant with your message. You can send us this file. You have complete control over the data you give to us, and we can use this to make the game better. Also, if you're interested in the stats of your PC, you can also use our in-game console to see how is the RAM usage of the game, how many frames we are rendering. Maybe you can show this off too, Dominic.
Maybe you don't see it because of the webcam.
Then he
Yeah,
can just briefly.
you see it now.
I wish you wouldn't call me that.
Like what?
He can just disable all our.
I was in full
It's
train,
just,
ready
I
to
have
get
to
my golden
disable
bars when I got back to Cassiopeia.
I have to disable our community manager.
Yeah, disable the community manager. Yeah. And there you
Now
can
you can see
see
it.
like what is your average FPS, what is the last frame, the several last frames. You have a little graph about the rendering, how it behaved, how much RAM we reserved for us, how much RAM we allocated. You see how the audio behaves in this special section. And we use this, of course, for finding problems with the game. For example, low FPS parts. Right now, you see it's capped to 60. You see that very good. And this is because VSync is enabled. Dominic, disable VSync in the settings, please.
Of course.
Hello? Still alive?
Yeah, I'm still alive. Still here.
Dominic?
Yeah, hello.
Hello.
Why can't you hear me?
Maybe because you were not loud enough for the gate to open.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe I have to talk louder. Is it okay? You hear me now?
Yeah, and now
Yes.
it's okay. But we were like, okay, he died.
Okay, now I put out the p-sync and you can see,
Yeah, and we should have uncapped FPS.
yeah, it doesn't get that much faster because this is the streaming PC, I guess.
Yeah, because right now the PC is doing a lot, but you can see the difference. That now it renders as fast as it can right on this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, disable the stats again. In the in-game console, I mean, you can disable them and show Zini again.
Yeah, I bring back the...
Bring back Zini! Bring back
There he is.
Zini!
Welcome back.
Okay. I would say 10 likes, then I come back.
10 wish lists.
Yeah, 10 wish lists.
Yeah. Oh yeah, here this section a lot of went into the look and feel of it. We wanted to gradually make the levels more destroyed, so you have the feeling of the ship gets worse every second you stay on it, which is exactly what the marble will tell our
Still the same way,
brave
Captain.
captain soon in this level, that things go from bad to worse and they have to make a detour through the reactor section of the ship. No, right? Yeah, you can give us a fast run through, I think.
Okay. There's also a very nice animation level that gets destroyed.
Yeah, this collapsing ceiling.
Yeah.
It's almost bad that you only see the tip of it, because the whole animation looks good. But I think maybe we can show this off somehow. But right now in the game, you just see the tip of the ceiling, but the animation is actually the whole thing coming down.
Who built this stuff? Such an odd way to...
Don't question the design.
We will have like little collectibles
Okay,
at some
easy does it.
points hidden in the levels for you to collect, where we thought, what could you put in? Of course, there's background lore. You can find more of that. But also we thought it would be fun to put things in you would normally find on a DVD bonus track. Like, I don't know, outtakes or team pictures or little interview sections or just some models or
Yeah.
basically stuff you can find on a bonus track. And that would be interesting for that. You can speedrun skip and fall down from the red to the... Oh, it doesn't matter.
That's the
Nobody
about.
has seen this.
Woo!
This
Break
has
it.
never happened.
Whee! Well... it works.
You weren't lying when you said this place had seen better times. Let's
Maybe
hope
for the
it won't get
speedrunners.
any worse.
We need to get
Yeah,
to the top of this
I
area
hope
and
Malastrus is not
contain it.
here
Be
anymore,
careful, though.
because I think this opens a new way of skipping some stuff.
Maybe he's Captain McLurk and write it all down for Saturday.
Captain McLurk.
Yeah,
Is this a thing?
he called himself so.
Okay. Well, that seems valid. Self-assigned titles are always the best, so...
Yeah.
Also, again, a very nice effect scene there.
Go to the
Time
barbecue.
carefully. Go when it stops.
Or if you're this...
Maybe what?
He made it actually with being such expanded. He expanded his fox so quickly, but he still made it. Hey, where are you going?
To the barbecue.
No, don't go.
Where is?
We want you to finish the level.
Ah, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought the baby Q. What's the baby Q?
Barbecue. It was.
It sounds awful. The baby Q.
Yeah, I won't say BBQ, and then I said not barbecue, so, but baby Q. That's a conclusion of both of this.
Well, it is a stream for adults, but
Guess another
baby
nice
is
scream
Not
here.
good.
The whole ship is unstable.
Yeah.
We can check the status of the
ah,
throttle.
nice.
Be quick, have a feeling we need to
You-
move with haste.
Did you now get the scream after the explosion?
Yes. It is
Funny. I did not expect someone could stand there. Funny. You know what? That will stay like this. That is very funny.
I also think we should do like a bonus track of all screens
As I
for the
thought, you're not
collectibles.
going to like this, Martin.
And add the Wilhelm scream.
Bad stuff first, then the good.
There is no good stuff. We are going to die rather quick.
And actually, we could. I think that is Creative Commons. You can
Yeah.
just use it.
Don't get there now, we won't get out of the ship.
Ah,
alive.
there,
We need
listen to
make a
this.
detour.
Really? Do we
Ah.
have to? Isn't there any airlock or something?
I always forget that this
As a matter
already
of
happened
fact,
when
no,
I see
the
it.
current
So.
damage level precludes us of getting out here. We need to keep moving towards the reactor, scram it and find a way out. Let's get going.
It's public domain.
Yeah, same thing. It's what I meant. And jump and fuck down. No, not this way.
Yeah,
Where's he going?
I'm back
Why?
down
Why? 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 But why?
because I wanted to show the level.
Oh, okay.
Just show off a little bit of this beautiful architectures. Not that I could do it much faster.
Oh, I think by now you could. Does not change the fact that I want a T-shirt with a certain developer.
I definitely want a t-shirt. Hey, do I get a certain developer fan club?
We can try to get a community for this.
A certain developer fan club.
So I have to do more streams.
Yeah, sure. But if you want to see a certain developer working on a dev stream, just tell us in the comments or write a message to Zini.
Yeah.
Hey, did you just skip the puzzle? Did you just skip the
No, no. He made the puzzle.
I made it
Okay.
very fast.
Okay. But I have an idea to skip this now.
No.
Ah, that means you fell down.
You will see it soon.
Yeah, very cleanly. I have to try if it's possible. If you jump the red on the right side of the structure,
Mm-hmm.
and then come down and steer immediately to the left. If it's possible to skip then the plate puzzle. And if it's faster than doing the plate puzzle.
I don't think so.
Another thing, so it's very good that Malastros is not here anymore.
Never told me it was this much fun.
Or maybe he is.
You think he's lurking?
Who knows? Who knows?
We're getting closer to the reactor, Martin. This next section is engineering.
Yeah.
According to the latest plans, we need to
So
access
that
the
this next level, it started actually as the first level that Samuel did when he started. We just set him down and said, okay, these are all the assets, make a level.
Do something.
What magic does a green bean
then we did not hear from him for 3 weeks. And then I had some time and asked, by the way, how's this level coming? And then I tried to open it in the editor, and it was too too big to actually run smoothly in the editor.
You have a couple of options. You decide in which order to activate the levers.
A certain developer fan club, would this be the CDC?
Yeah, and I would do a conference every year.
That is your conference.
It's
All about you.
certain developer conference.
Let's run down.
It's actually funny.
Meet a certain developer.
Hey, no need to get nasty. Again, I'm trying my best here, oh wise Bob.
All right. Maybe we should both.
We can sell photos with you and
Yeah.
something like this.
I could give talks about how to suck in games.
Oh. I now have a visitor.
It fits.
Is Buggy back?
There's something about micrometer precise fits that make me both
Yeah.
shudder and amaze.
Buggy buggy.
Anyone tell you?
Hmm.
You are the first.
Hopefully the last.
Well.
Well,
So, Zini, how long did you take first time doing this level?
The first time I doing this level, I need
forever.
yeah. First time I was totally lost in this maze.
Machine number 2.
I think I need 45 minutes or something like this.
Yeah, that is actually when people ask how long or how much playtime they can get for the game, it's difficult to calculate because, well, some people really take long on the puzzles, or on some trick you have to do with the marble, but and for some it's just okay, do this and out and finished and done and
I think it's okay
Yeah, it's-
as long as they like it.
It's different challenges. Once you have the challenge for a normal puzzle, a logical level. Sometimes you must be good in the jumping and fast pacing, and sometimes you have to navigate, and that's here the challenge.
Yeah, speak with more. Don't go back this way. No,
This clearly
Ah,
turned out
he-
to be a labyrinth.
I keep shouting at the screen, not, but it is actually too late when I see it. So
Mhm.
all my shouting will not help. But at the end of the day, it's a puzzle platformer. So of course we have to add puzzles, but there are so different kinds of puzzles that you do. For example, just the difference between the puzzle moving the barrel over to the other side of over the orange beam, compared with the 4-plate puzzle. It is two different, really different things.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can have them all.
And I think the good thing is that you want to hear more of this voice acting and how the story goes on, and so you try and try to get better and finally get to the end of this.
Yeah, which is not something every puzzle game has, or every platformer
Yeah.
has. Just a story this detailed behind it, an arc that you have to follow or to explore like this. Which is actually more than we expected by ourselves, but we'll hear more from this on Monday when we have the lead narrative designer for the game tell us a little bit about how he came up with all our ideas compressed into a single plot.
Oh no.
Yeah, I got
He did it. He did it.
in this
He did it.
situation.
Ah, that is bad.
But he can save and then reload.
Wait.
And then
Now
let
it's
me-
okay.
let-
Now
let
just
me
go
just
to the.
try. No, let me just try something. If the door stays open, I could be fast enough to fly through.
Ah, yeah. If you open it all the way,
Yeah.
the closing animation will take equally long. Yeah.
Nah,
Okay.
I'm-
So use the cheat fly there.
Oh.
Nobody
Yeah.
has seen that.
So you did what I said, yeah.
Yeah.
We can hear the dog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's munching on a bone.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but she can do this. She should be a dog. She should be such a cute dog. Such a cute doggy dog.
And this was Jens' baby voice.
It's my doggy voice.
Maybe you should do another question instead of pizza or döner, cats or dogs.
No, I will not open that can of worms.
Yeah.
But you do the pizza and döner thing, so
Yeah,
you can have a döner
Because
pizza,
I actually-
but you can have a dog cat.
and nobody noticed that I actually did not answer that.
Well, we have to do another interview then.
Maybe you find out in the next stream. Dun dun dun. There we go. Come. What is your problem with the green ones?
I don't know. They just suck. The green.
It is actually for me. It's actually quite straightforward to come up there.
Yeah. I think you must fuck down.
I think you must fuck the green beams.
Yeah, no, fuck down.
I think you should use the fog more like little short bursts, like.
Why does this work? Have you seen it?
Yeah, he did it again. I don't know why. It's okay, Dominic. You already did
Yeah,
it,
I've
but
seen
I
it.
don't know how. But you made that. Have to test that later.
Yeah. Yeah, we are still in development, so little bugs are inside. It's
And he's actually not playing the Steam build.
okay.
I don't know if it has something to do with this, but he's actually not playing the Steam build. For the version numbers, you can see in the main menu, there's always the version number in the lower right corner. And for the Steam version, there is a little S behind that number. Oh, nice, you made that. Yeah. And you actually follow this exactly the intended way. But with this, it does not matter in what order you flip the switches. So when we made the audio, which is basically, I think you heard this, like 2 or Joker, the third one, or I don't know what he says.
Yeah,
But
the third slot
we had
machine.
to find a way to make this with our level triggers, like it fits. This is the wrong way.
Yeah, you say
So-
that, and then I go on for some seconds.
Yeah, I know. It's my own personal hell. Wrong, 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 wrong. Wrong, wrong, wrong.
I missed.
Yeah, you go up. Up in the pipes. Not back to the main room, but now back to the maze and first way up and then try up. And up here. And up there too.
The best way to go to through a maze is to go one way all the time and then follow it clockwise.
Except if you're in the how is it called in English? Kerker des Hasses Level 2. There you have to go anti-clockwise.
Oh, okay.
Right. For those old Diablo 2 players. Right. Go right.
Too
Hot,
late.
hot,
Too late.
cold.
Too late. Too late.
Oh yeah, I guess he has it now.
Number 4.
Got it.
Jackpot.
All 4 down.
Ding, ding,
Awesome.
ding.
So back to the main room, and there's one of the greatest conversations, and I try to estimate where it is to not interrupt it with my blah blah. And one of this is actually our follower sounds. Oh, by the way, we disabled the Twitch follower sounds for this evening because the other platforms might get confused. But I think Zini will see if that comes and will
Yeah.
call them out.
I see all follows, all raids that come in.
I wonder if the speedrunners will fall down after, because the fog for this orange is deactivated. Oh, by the way, I think Malastros route takes the down with the 2 sticky beams as the last way, because then when he comes here, the elevator's down,
Okay.
which saves him exactly this waiting time now.
Yeah, I think this is for speedrunning the hardest time when the elevator started and you must wait till it comes back.
Yeah, that's why I saw them both try different routes with the order of the levers to get the perfect this. And I think there will be the most differences. I think they will take different routes in this.
I think we talked about over the great voice line.
Did we?
We talked over the great voice
Yeah,
line.
did we though? Did we?
I
Really?
think. Yeah.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we did. So you have to play it yourself, and that is very easy. Just download the demo, have 2 hours of fun, and while it's being downloaded, it's enough time for you to add it to your wish list.
Yeah.
Have a look at this, and if you like it, then wish list is what you can for you. It will help us out. And if you don't like it, just add it.
And tell your family to add it to the wish list.
And your friends and everyone. And on this notice, I think we come to the end of this day's stream.
Yeah.
I thank everyone for watching. I thank you for the support, for being active in the chat, for staying with us through this
My
almost 3 hours.
sucking at the game and stuff.
And tune back in tomorrow for some puzzle creation. Tune back in on Saturday for 2 speedrunners going head to head on beating the game as fast as they can. what do we have on Sunday?
Then I
Uh,
play the game.
We have the community manager versus the game. We will see if we can get him to rage quit.
Never,
And
never.
on Monday, we will talk a little bit about the story behind the game and what is to be expected of the whole story. And thank you for watching and have a nice day.
See ya.
See you soon. Bye bye.